Welcome back to the Comic Book ASM Artist. Today we're doing another previews flip through. This one's kind of a combined one because of all the stuff with the virus and everything. So if you'll see in the corner there, it says May, June, 380 and 381. Doing shops in August. There weren't any additional DC or Marvel books. They have some Marvel stuff covered in here, but I'm just going to use the previous DC solicitation to show you some of the items. I know, like this, the Three Jokers is a huge thing that's going to be available for pre-order right now. So I'll be going through this. Not everything in here is still gonna ship like it's supposed to, but a lot of the things in here will. So first we'll go through the big catalog and then the little one. So there have been new books at the shop for, I guess, the past couple weeks now. And I did pick up some books yesterday. I didn't get a ton of them, but I figured since this was just released this past Wednesday here, so figured I would show you as close as I can to what's coming out available for pre-order new. So this is a big deal. Peter David is coming back to write a mini-series here. And we'll get into that further in here. They're just little blurbs. But I'll probably be doing the haul in the next Saturday video, probably. And big news too, I finally got my computer to do my game capture and all that, so that should be coming out soon. Probably see more videos during the week. I can't promise anything right now, but I have the mind to do it, so hopefully my schedule will allow that to happen. So we do see here, May the first Saturday in May is always Free Comic Book Day every single year. This year it was canceled, but well, this here is saying that it's not fully canceled. They're still going to be doing Free Comic Book Day. They don't have a date or anything yet, but they still have product that's free to give to people and stuff. So in the coming months we should know more about when that will take place. But we look here and we see a lot of the same freebies as before. I don't see the Tick one though. Oh, I guess I do. It's right here. Never mind. I was about to say that's the one I didn't see, and that's the one I want the most. So, and then this is the Gems of the Month section here. See, there's the Three Jokers. I'm very excited about that. First, we have the image section here. Image is just always fun if you want something different, you know? It's not your typical hero books. So, if you want something different than your regular superhero stuff, check out Image. I keep getting curious about Sonata. I love Brian Heberlin's art a whole lot, and I keep contemplating picking this up. I may at some point. Ice Cream Man, I hear, is really good. It's a horror book, so not of my interest, but I hear a lot of good things about it. Now this is cool. Image is releasing a ton of their number ones for past well-known series for $1 a piece. So you can pre-order all these here, and they're all just $1. So it's pretty cool. I think this is the first time that they've had so many that you could pre-order. And yes, we do have a little rainstorm going outside with some thunder mixed in, so not keeping me from recording, but there is a little extra going on in the background. Now this is something I noticed here. I have been keeping my eyes peeled for Savage Dragon 250 just because that's a milestone, you know? And I hadn't seen it in the past few months. And I went to pre-order it. I guess it has been solicited already, but I don't remember seeing it, so 250 hasn't come out yet. Eric Larson was waiting on some of the variant cover artists to turn in their work before he could put it to print, I guess. So it is finished finally. It's totally wrapped, and I guess it's going to ship in July if this is shipping in August, so keep an eye out for that. I will be getting 250 as well as 251 is supposed to be a good jumping on point. I don't know if I'll stay on it, but I am curious. There's that book that I got a bunch of in my mystery box. So now we're in the Dark Horse section here. I keep contemplating wanting to pick up these. There's action figures that this comic series is based around. And I think there's even little YouTube shorts now for Alternation. One of these days I might bite the bullet and buy some of the stuff. My kids make me a little more curious about it because I've been wanting them to get some cool figures because, as you all know, if you grew up in the 80s and 90s and stuff, we had a lot of cool toys. And now everything is overpriced, and you know, it's because they're marketing to us, the adults, and not so much the kids. So it's like if you want your kid to have an action figure, you gotta hand them a $25 toy that's meant for display use, you know. So then they go to pose and the thing's arm pops off, which, you know, would still happen on occasion with our stuff, but you know. So this is a huge deal right here. I highly recommend pre-ordering this if you haven't heard of it yet. Last Ronin. This is kind of like I think it's an Elseworlds Ninja Turtle story that they talked about way back in the day. Yeah, it says 1987. Laird and Eastman were talking about this story and kind of the what if scenario. It's basically like the last surviving turtle. If you can't tell, he's got all the weapons in here. And my theory, it might not even be one of the Ninja Turtles. It could be, you know, offspring or something. It just depends on how far in the future we're talking here. So, but it's going to be a 5-part miniseries. It's $9 for each part, but it's 48 pages. It'll be, I guess, a little bigger too, because it's bigger than your standard size there. They usually, I think, by about 10 or so. It's like 6 by 10 or something. So hopefully I still am able to get the Eastman variant, but I do see it says it's a retail incentive one. So, but I don't know if you can really see the art there too well either. But I'm very excited for it because it's, like I said, it's always been something they've kicked around. So the artists on it are Andy Kuhn and Eastman. So Eastman is doing like, you know, the pencil stuff, and Andy Kuhn is doing a lot of the inking. I think he'll probably do some of the pages as well, but so that's mostly Eastman driven with bits of Andy Kuhn thrown in there. And then it's written by Eastman, Peter Laird as well, and Tom Waltz. So, kind of a big deal. As you know, I was collecting the Jenica miniseries. I think I have the first 2 issues. I don't see the rest of those solicited, so I'm not sure if you want to get the whole thing, you'll need to pick up the trade. So I might end up having to do that. I don't know. This is another one. I'm picking this up just for curiosity's sake here. G.I. Joe wasn't really huge for me. Like, we definitely watched it and stuff. I never had many of the toys as a kid or anything. But Rob Liefeld is, I guess he's going to do more than one issue. I thought he was just going to be on the first one, but I see here this is issue 2 of Snake Eyes as well, and he's on as the artist. So, kind of pick it up for some Rob Liefeld art and, you know, some nostalgic G.I. Joe type stuff. And Snake Eyes is a cool character too, so. I'm curious about this too, the rise of the Decepticons. I think this will be the start of a new arc for Transformers, and that's just a cool cover and an interesting premise there, so I'm kicking the tires on that one too. Every time I see this here, I think of Bucky O'Hare, but it's not. It's a Star Wars character. Don't know. This was interesting here. They're putting out an art book for the Do the Evolution video by Pearl Jam, which was something that Todd McFarlane helped oversee and produce. So it shows, like, you know, like the storyboards and the concept art and stuff like that. So I might get it, I might not, but it is cool to see this regardless. And of course, you can pull up and check out the video too. It's really crazy. So this is what I was talking about earlier, the Maestro. It's a 5-part miniseries. It's going to be written by Peter David. The art is by Jermaine Peralta and Dale Keown. So Keown and David together again is a huge deal. So this is the origin of the Maestro. So I'll probably be picking that up. And, you know, of course, they're having 1.5 million variant covers and stuff too. So Empire is still going, I guess. To my knowledge, none of it has even come out yet. Am I wrong on that? I don't remember seeing any of the books on the shelf for it, so I'm kind of curious in it, but it just seems like every event they do, it really has no sticking power now. So I don't know. The last one I really cared about was the Avengers versus X-Men one, I think. And then the original Sin one just completely spoiled it for me. So this is a big deal too. Neil Adams will be drawing a Fantastic Four miniseries with Mark Waid here. So the premise here is an unstoppable meteor of unknown origin has just erupted from hyperspace, and unless the Fantastic Four can find a way to stop it from hitting Manhattan, millions will die. So it just sounds like a standard story. I think there was some sort of hook to, yeah, this is a new character here, Antithesis. And I think he has something to do with the origin of the cosmic storm that turned them into who they are, possibly. And then it keeps talking about the X of Swords here. And they're not really saying too much about it. Like, I'm trying to figure out what I need to read in order to get, like, that whole contained story. It says it starts next month. I'll probably have to ask my shop and see the parameters here. I know I'm picking up regular X-Men 11 here, but the book on the cover isn't even shown in there. See this one here, X-Men X of Swords Creation #1. This book is not in here, so I'm assuming you'll need to read this, and then I'm sure they'll have maybe its own however many part event book, you know, like 4 or 5 parts or something, but I don't see that in here. It's a facsimile for the Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man #1. Truthfully, though, you can probably find the regular book for cover price for $4 or something, so not sure why you would want a facsimile of it if you can just easily buy it. It was one of the most sold comics of all time, so sure, if you want it, you can find it. I do want to read this on the channel, not the extended cut, but classic story here, God Loves, Man Kills. And I did get mine signed by Claremont before when I met him too. This is kind of a cool book here too. This is like the intro to Deadpool. It's got his first appearance and then like the circle chase and the first 4 from his other series. So I'm contemplating checking that out. Just as a nice little sampler. I don't really have any Deadpool stuff, just a few items, so. And he's a fun character, you know. And then they're putting this out as a trade, and then they stopped on issue 3 with the floppy, so I don't know if you have to buy the trade to get this full story too. I don't know. Apparently they're putting Mars Attacks on a bunch of the books this month. Now we're in the Boom section. And I'm worried about the Ninja Turtles Power Rangers crossover. I don't see any more write-ups for that in here either. So hopefully that's not on the back burner now. So this is interesting. Slaughterhouse 5 is being done as a graphic novel. And they've made a few graphic novels, but this is just someone else's take on it here. So a little curious about that. You can't really make out much even from here in my space. Like when I look at this in person, I can't see much. But something a little different for a literary classic, you know. Another random R.L. Stine series here. So this is an original story, it looks like. Saw Joe Harris on there. So, okay, so he's writing this one, Disaster Inc. I liked his Rockstars book he did a while ago, so I might check this out. I like Joe, so. I think it's weird that they're still using random images that Mike Turner drew years ago to make new covers for books. I mean, he still has his legacy and everything, and was taken from this earth fairly young, I think he was in his 20s when he passed, so. But it's just kind of weird, because it'll just every now and then it'll pop up with a new Michael Turner cover on a book. Just like he's been dead for years, And they have the Eastman X-Men variant down here. So the Dynamic Forces section here looks like it's got a lot of good stuff this month. So we got Scott Snyder signed Death Metal #3 there. Signed 3 Jokers by Jason Fabok. I'm going to try to pre-order that. Hopefully I won't not get it. I've pre-ordered it, so I don't know if we'll ever meet him in real life or not. A bunch of books signed by James Tynion here for, it looks like $49.99. All the way through. Peter Tomasi signed Detective there for same thing. And then a Dan Jurgens as well. All $49.99. So Chris Bocciolo signed Spider-Man book there for $30. Steve Orlando here for $50. Spider-Man Facsimile Wedding Annual. That one is signed by David Michelin for $50. Andy Kubert on X-Men 30, the wedding issue Facsimile for $49.99. Donny Cates signed there on some Venom books for $49.99. Yeah. So some pretty heavy hitters on this month's signature books to get. I can't recommend them enough. As they put them in the thing, there's a sticker on the back with the Dynamic Forces logo. There's a certificate in there. So it's an authentic signature. Holds its value. This is a big deal here. This is the first time ever, I think, that Todd McFarlane has drawn Spidey and Spawn together for a published anything. Some more Tick stuff. I did have this shirt. It got worn out really fast, so I'm tempted to order it again and see if it doesn't break down on me. Looks like we have a Beatles set here for $75. Here's a Back to the Future hoverboard kit. Looks like that's $13. So this will be an interesting book here. The Epic Life of the King of Comics, Jack Kirby. This is going to be $29. It's a hardcover too. I was expecting it to be a trade, so I'll probably pick that up. I'm wondering which facets of his life that it will highlight or not. And I keep contemplating getting the Assassin's Creed stuff by Titans Comics. I really love that game series. I just got a ton of the previous games I haven't played for Assassin's Creed. I paid $60 for like 4 games on the PlayStation Store. So these guys here, though, they come with like a slipcase and stuff. I think one of them does anyway. So I'm curious about those. And then they have a Mandalorian art book coming. I might check that out. But I just beat Assassin's Creed Syndicate this past weekend, like last weekend. And then 3 weeks prior to that, I think I beat Assassin's Creed Unity. So trying to catch up on my games before the new one comes out with the Vikings in it. And then I finally was able to reorder the Assassin's Creed Encyclopedia. Used to own it back in the day, and I'm getting the updated 3.0 version. So I'll show that off when I have it. So yeah, this company here, Z2 Comics, specializes in a lot of their stuff as like comics by like music people and just different types of people. So we see this is one by the YouTube/musician here, Poppy. This is the second trade in this collection. And they have one for the Gorillas coming out as well. They have one by Skillet coming out. So you can go on their site and you can get the books directly from them. But just kind of something random to mention there. Of course, we're in the manga section here. Just started to watch My Hero Academia with my kids, so that's been fun. I really didn't know what to expect with the series, but we're not super far, and I think we're about 6 episodes in, but it has a good premise so far. It throws me off, having the same voice actor for All Might as Piccolo and Vegeta and hearing bits of that when he speaks. But it's fun. It's kind of just about equally as weird as when you realize that King Kai is also voiced by the guy who does Goku's voice too. Because King Kai is such a ridiculous character. Alright, so now we have the little flipped over portion here. They really want to let everyone know Free Comic Book Day is coming. Don't know when though. And I have yet to crack open Final Fantasy VII. I want to play that with my kids, the remake. And they've been more or less grounded for a little while, so they haven't been able to do things like watch me play video games or anything. So, and then I just missed out on this, but the comic shop put it on pre-order for me, the Venom versus Spidey moment. Then we have the White Knight Sean Gordon Murphy Batman figures by McFarlane Toys coming out, so get those on pre-order. I think they have them at like Walmart and stuff too, but I don't know how easy they are to come by either. And then these are still available here. I'm going to be doing a video here soon showcasing all the Batman animated toys that I have from the new line. That was a big thing I did whenever we got our I guess state check or whatever you want to call it. We got quite a bit of money. We paid off a lot of stuff, and I hadn't been able to get those animated figures because we never really had the money for them before, but I was like, hey, I've always wanted them. Can I get them? And then I was lucky enough to get most of the ones I wanted, so be able to show those off to you all soon. Another look at that one. It's so cool. And then I guess the chase is the one that actually comes with the comic. I didn't know that's how they did chases for those. And then I just got the Penguin and Catwoman pop yesterday too. I'll be showing those off at a later date as well. Gotta figure out how to get my secondary camera working. Because on this one, I can't do basically like, it only captures maybe 10 or so minutes in selfie mode or some nonsense like that. And then I think it scales down the image as well. The camera on the front's not as good as the one on the back, I think. So that's why you haven't really seen many role plays or anything from me. I mean, I don't want to do a ton of them, but I'd like to do a few at least. Get some nerd Chia Pets over here. Mr. Miyagi, Pennywise, Weird Al, Bernie Sanders. Not sure what he has to do with comic books, but alright. Bob Ross Monopoly. And you're just trying to own all of his paintings and put houses on top of them. Alright, so that's the end of that. So as I said before, this is not, all this stuff's not going to come out in August, but a lot of it will. So bear that in mind as we go through it. This, for instance, definitely coming. Very excited. So, a new Deceased miniseries because they are milking the success of that. We'll be pre-ordering it. 3 Jokers. It's been years in the making. Death Metal, number 2. The Joker War is starting. It's going to be another character too. Everyone talks about Punchline. There's another character, a Clown Hunter, will be appearing in Batman 96. So, bear that in mind, for those of you who are speculators. And then, yeah, keep an eye on the other books too. Batgirl's going to be a tie-in. Detective Comics, Nightwing, even Harley Quinn number 75 is going to be having a story that pertains to it that will have a Punchline in it. And that's not even solicited in here, I don't think. Batman Adventures Continue number 2, the animated series. Part 1 will hopefully come out in the next couple weeks here. Yeah, it shows 74 in here. But I know I just ordered 75, so I think 74 is probably coming out next month. And this Man Manifest, I guess, is a mini-series. I thought it was a one-shot initially, so it's going to be a 5-part mini-series. I'm going to be checking that out for sure. So you'll want to check this out if you're into the narrative of Damian Wayne as Robin. He is hunting down the KG Beast, and the KG Beast is responsible for shooting Dick Grayson in the head and having him lose all of his memories and all that. So Damian's seeking some justice that might not be to Batman's approval. And I know in the last thing that I pre-ordered, it's got 44 in there. Basically, Batman confronts him in it, and then there's the Teen Titans annual. Basically, has him casting off the costume. So, not sure if that's just a marketing ploy or whatever, but it is something to note if you do care about that character at all. I think a lot of these facsimiles have been canceled from what I've heard. Even the 100-page giants as well. Some Brian Bolland Batman Who Laughs statues here. I guess this one technically isn't, but I always think of it as one just because he's holding the Joker card there. Alright, well that's going to do it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this out. Let's continue to grow the channel. Continuing to try to set up doing more and more things during the week. Hopefully I'll be able to. I may do a live stream this Thursday, 7 o'clock Seattle time. I'm not sure which time zone that is off the top of my head right this second. And then hopefully I'll be getting some gameplay stuff out and doing readings and stuff like that. It just depends on how normal my schedule becomes. But yeah, as always, you guys have a super slumber. Thanks. Bye.